Hi, how are you? This is where all the sunk cost fallacy happens. My massive figure collection is over like $20,000 in this room, so it's a live investment. I've been doing this for like over a year now, for almost 2 years, and this whole setup is new for the most part. New monitor, new PC I built up from the ground for Fortnite because it kept crashing. There was no other reason.
Your entire PC setup is dedicated to Fortnite?
Yes, and it still crashes.
Oh no.
And it's not a graphical error. It's Fortnite being shitly optimized.
All right. So what got you into the figure collecting?
This is where the trouble started. I watched the DBS Broly movie, and he became my favorite character. So I wanted something of Broly, and we were going to see the Demon Slayer movie, and I saw this in the shop, and I was like, it was $40, and I was like, I gotta get it. So I got this, and when I got home and opened it, I was like, wow, this is nice.
So just a small prize figure like that will get you into a hobby as vast as figure collecting?
Yeah, it can, cause that's how most people start. They'll start off with prize figures because they're relatively cheap, and then depending on how much more you appreciate the hobby, you'll eventually graduate to scales and maybe resin statues, which is like the highest up.
So you started with these smaller statues with Dragon Ball, and are you just collecting mostly your interest, what makes you happy, the shows that you've watched in the past, or what's the idea going around each figure?
Well, more so I like it as a art form now than just off of nostalgia or like sentimental reasons. So I'll go for figures like from a series I like Full Metal or Naruto or Arcane. But I actually have a lot of OCs just because I like their design, like the paint sculpt and just overall aesthetics. So that's more so what I go off of now, because I've passed up a lot of figures of my favorite characters because I didn't really like the pose, or I didn't feel like it did the character justice.
And this is a hobby that anyone can really get into?
It depends, because for scale figures, if you plan on collecting a lot, you have to have the finances for it. So it's not for anybody. It's actually a very niche hobby.
So there's certain stages of figures, right? How does it go from prize all the way to resin?
You got, I would say, prizes, which are they look decent, but they're kind of like scales, but the Walmart scales.
So what would your favorite prize figure be?
Either the Broly I just showed, or probably this one here of Goku and Vegeta, blue. It's from the movie where they did the Big Bang and Kamehameha. Final Flash and Kamehameha.
And eventually you move up from prize figures to scale figures. What are scale figures?
Scale figures, besides the quality increase, they are made in reference to the size of the character, what they would be in real life. So let's say like a 1/4 of Urza would be a fourth of her actual height, and if you put 4 of those, that would be how tall she'll be in real life. Yeah, and
Do you have a favorite one of those?
Favorite scale would be this Lancer Artoria here, or maybe Jinx or the Jean Alter on the far left of that same shelf. The reason this Full Metal one is my favorite figure in here, but it's not a scale figure. If you did scale, it'd probably be around 1/8, but it's not marketed as a scale figure. It's just a figure, but it does have the scale quality. So if we're talking about that, then that's my favorite.
Okay, well, with what you have here, you've really built up a massive collection. What kind of hobbies got you into this originally? I'm sure you started with playing games or watching anime, maybe even reading some manga.
Well, I've always liked to collect things, because back when Smash 4 was out, we would collect the amiibos, and like I really like just having them, and then also the hunt of trying to get them, because that's another thing people don't really think about in terms of like getting figures. Like finding a rare one and actually getting it is like a big dopamine hit. Like for example, this Virgil one here, like it took me probably close to a year to finally get him, and he was like a very sought after figure for me. So when I finally did get him, he's like a holy grail of mine, which is another term they use in the figure community for like basically a favorite figure or rare figure or just one that looks really nice. And yeah, besides that, and this Full Metal one, because it took me a while to actually get this one because it's very expensive now, but it was 100% worth it to me because there's no other Full Metal figure to me that does the series justice. Besides, there's one coming out that's like $2,000 and it's not worth it. And now the setup, this is, I recently just got this chair because Monster Hunter is my favorite game series of all time. So I got the Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 Monster Hunter Edition. And this is the only Monster Hunter chair that I know of. And from what I heard, Secret Lab is the best brand of gaming chairs, which I know a lot of people don't like gaming chairs. They like the office chairs like Herman Miller or whatever.
And originally you started with a DX Racer, I believe, correct?
Yeah, it was shit.
Yeah.
Like you don't know it's shit until you get a Secret Lab, and then I was like, God, I've been sitting at DX Racer for like 6 years. This is the new PC I just built. It's for the notable specs, it has a 5700 XT, which I'm probably gonna upgrade at some point, but I just pulled it from my old rig because it's still a really good card. It can handle everything I throw at it. Ryzen 7 5800X, which is a crazy good CPU, but mainly. With this setup, this time around, I wanted to focus on RGBs so I could customize them to whatever theme I wanted. Like right now, it's on screen ambience, so all my RGBs will mimic whatever's happening on my monitor. And this is my ultra wide monitor, 2K MSI. This is one of my old monitors. I had a dual setup with these, but I wanted to try ultra wide gaming, and I cannot go back.
What do you have for recommendations on someone who's going to start a collection like this?
Start out small, and don't buy things just to have them. Like try to be more selective. But for somebody starting out, start out with like prize figures or a cheaper option, and then if you want to move up the scales, you can do that. I would buy one scale to see if it's for you or not, because the first scale I bought was a Lance Artoria, and just it felt so premium that I was like, this is the end I want to be in terms of figure collecting, because there's just a noticeable increase in the quality and how much detail they put into it.
I've never seen another setup that's shown as much personalization as yours do. Just walking into it, as soon as you walk into this room, it screams you. What is the best way for people to kind of just show their own personality? I feel like a lot of people get into the modern minimalistic setups and they just kind of get stuck in this bland outlook on how their setups look. But you managed to show off your favorite hobbies, your favorite games, your favorite shows, everything just like that. What is something that people can do at home to improve their setups?
The main thing is to not really care what people think, depending on how passionate you are about it. Because, like, if you walk, like, this is a lot to walk into, obviously, like, for somebody that's, like, not big into anime or games or anything like that. But, like I said, the main thing is not being afraid what people think. Because I'm used to seeing, like, setups on, like, YouTube or whatever, and they all kind of blend together. Like, once I've seen one, I feel like I've seen them all. So when I see something like this, it catches my eye, so I want to kind of have the same thing going on with my room. So I just like looked for higher quality art, figures, stuff like that. So if you walk into my room, you automatically know what I'm into, what I like, what series I've seen.
Well, you've definitely accomplished that. So is there any way someone out there, people commenting down below, can reach out to you and just kind of get to know you a little bit better?
I have a Reddit where I do post about my figures and just general setup stuff. And I have a Twitch where I don't stream. So if you can follow me there, and then maybe I'll stream in like the next year or so. Because you kind of want to wait a little bit, like give them a year in between so each stream is special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so far we're about 2 years and counting.
Let's go.
And yeah. I might be playing Fortnite. Every time I say Fortnite, I can't take it seriously.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing thanks for sharing the motherfucker. I can't do S's.
Keep that in the bloopers.
Thanks for sharing. This is a really nice setup you got here. Thank you for sharing everything that you got with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for
All right, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me and actually showing off what you've collected over the last couple of years. It really is impressive.
Oh yeah, no problem. I probably plan on making a YouTube channel to show off, like, if once I move, I'm gonna have like a dedicated office for this stuff, and I'm probably gonna show that off on a YouTube channel. So it'll probably be the same tag as my Reddit and Twitch.